comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
Ooh, what's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko podcast. I'm DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, not only is it the special 160th edition of a Funko podcast, but we thought we'd mix things up today. I mean, you guys have probably seen the thumbnail already of what we're doing, but for the podcast, obviously we'd be talking about just Funko Pops, hence the name, a Funko Podcast. But then obviously once in a blue moon to kind of change things up, we'd do an all sodas podcast, which we've done, I believe, 4 of them already. And we felt that this past week, there weren't that many Funko Pop announcements to do a full-on pop podcast, but there hasn't been that many soda announcements since the last time we did a soda podcast, which was actually pretty recent. So we thought for the first time ever, we would actually mix both of them together and talk about both of them at the same time on the podcast. We thought we were going to be able to talk about New York Comic Con reveals, which actually are ongoing as we are recording this podcast, which will be the entirety of next week's podcast. So definitely stay tuned for next week's podcast on New York Comic Con reveals, which are just pretty insane with how many they're just pumping up just today alone. I don't even know if there's going to be day 2 reveals as of recording, but obviously when this gets released, you guys would know. But without further ado, we will actually kick off with the Funko Pop reveals kicking off, which range from September 1st to September 2nd, which the first one we have here is of Ravenclaw Geoffrey, in which that is available now online and it's starting to hit up stores now also. On that same day, Funko had announced pops for the Disney Parks Resorts Disney World 50th Anniversary lineup, which we have ourselves a Minnie Mouse on Prince Charming Regal Carousel, an Aloha Mickey Mouse, Parrot Jose, and then a Mickey Mouse with Hollywood Tower Hotel Pop Town, in which these are expected to release as early as November 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced a brand new wave of NFL Pops, which we have Pops of Tom Brady, Micah Parsons, Lamar Jackson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, George Kittle, Tua Tagovailoa, I knew I was going to butcher some names here, Christian McCaffrey, and Trevor Lawrence, in which these are expected to release as early as November 2022. Then on September 2nd, Funko had announced a set of pops for the movie Bullet Train, which we have pops of Momomon, Ladybug, which also has a 1-in-6 chase, and The Wolf, which these are expected to release as early as January 2023. And last but not least, for these Funko Pop announcements, we have a pop of a glow-in-the-dark Might Guy from Naruto Shippuden, in which this is going to be a Chalice Collectibles exclusive, and is expected to release as early as sometime in Q1 of 2023. So I guess kicking off with the Ravenclaw Geoffrey for the Toys R Us Harry Potter mashup. And I mean, this is to be expected. We had the Slytherin one already announced, and we kind of figured, even they had silhouettes on the website, that we were going to get Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and then obviously Gryffindor at some point. And what was very funny is that if you were on social media when this was originally posted, they had accidentally posted the Hufflepuff version and still labeled it as Ravenclaw, and then later deleted it and then switched it with the photo, which actually has the Ravenclaw scarf and jacket on, which I thought was pretty funny, because even I noticed, I'm like, that kind of looks like Hufflepuff, not Ravenclaw. And then they switched it up like, ha ha. I can't wait to see the rest, because I'm sure that people are going to really want Gryffindor the most, because it is Harry Potter's house that he's in. Then we have the Disney World 50th Anniversary Disney Parks Pops, and these are pretty decent. The one that kind of really annoys me is the fact that just a couple of weeks ago, actually the podcast that Robbie D filled in for MD Shady, we had talked about a 2-pack of Jose and Aloha Mickey Mouse that was exclusive to Disney Parks. And now here they are just separated, and they are common singular pops, which I guess is good, because I think Robbie actually mentioned he would rather have the Parrot Pete rather than the Mickey Mouse, which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. The Parrot Pete, does look pretty cool, and we do have a lot of Mickey Mouse pops as it is. So I mean, if you want to just Parrot Pete, or not Parrot Pete, sorry, Parrot Jose, then I mean, this is your chance on just getting the comment, and then you don't have to get it through like the Disney Parks website, which I guess is also a plus. And then the Pop Town is also pretty decent. I like the overall design. I'm curious to know what the size of the Pop Town is going to be compared to the Pop itself, because it looks like it's going to be massive, but we've seen Pops like, let's say, the Harry Potter Hogwarts Pop Town, where like the size just does not look as big as it should be for the size of that building. So I'm really curious to see what it looks like in person when I see this hitting up stores. Then we got ourselves a new wave of NFL pops, and I'm not really going to talk about these because I usually never have anything to say about NFL because I don't really watch NFL. And the fact that the majority of these pops, as far as I know, are just color switches as terms of the jerseys. Like, I'm pretty sure we already have a Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneers pop, but it was a home jersey. Now you have an away jersey, or it's the other way. I don't know how it goes for NFL. I know that NHL, obviously, the color is the home jersey and the white jersey is the away. And I believe basketball or baseball, one of the two, is the other way around. So I don't know how the NFL does theirs, but a lot of these look very familiar. I remember there being a Josh Allen and obviously a Tom Brady. I think there was a Joe Burrow, and then I think there was also a George Kittle, but I don't recognize the other ones. But that's also mainly because I don't really concentrate on the NFL lineup. But I'm sure there's obviously going to be a lot of people who are going to want that Tom Brady because, I mean, he's kind of a very talked about subject as terms to NFL, especially because he announced his retirement and then he's like, you know what? I'm unretiring. Moving on to the Bullet Train pops, which I know Bullet Train was a movie that just recently released in theaters, I believe. These pops look pretty decent, especially the way that they did the Common and the Chase for Ladybug, which is a weird name for a character. It is the same body mold, I'm pretty sure, but they just changed the head sculpt, which I guess it's pretty decent. They both look pretty cool. The character of Momomon, I have no idea what this character is all about, but it seems very interesting for when I do eventually watch Bullet Train. And then the wolf is looking pretty decent with his white jacket that clearly is covered in a bunch of blood. So I think that's pretty sweet. And then we have the pop from Naruto Shippuden, Might Guy, Glow in the Dark, and this actually looks pretty cool. Both what we're looking at for non-glow in the dark and glow in the dark, I think it looks really cool. So it's cool that you have essentially just it's glow in the dark, and it's not one of those instances where Child's Collectibles is like, all right, here is the common. And if you want the chase, you have to buy a 6-pop bundle to guarantee yourself a chase instead of just gambling and trying to get, 3 pops and seeing if you're going to get the chase that way. So I guess it's cool that you do have it just glow in the dark for 1 pop, no chase involved. I do really enjoy this. This might actually be one of my favorite Naruto Shippuden pops, not only as of late, but maybe of all time, to be honest, because it looks really cool in terms of the detail.
Okay, starting off with a brand new Geoffrey pop, which is always cool to see, especially considering that Toys R Us is now only in Canada. So it's actually a pop that is easily obtainable for us. And I'm liking this Harry Potter series of the Geoffrey pops so far. I think that they're all going to be very similar besides the differences in the colors of each house. So you're basically expecting to see, you're going to know what to expect, but they do look good. I think I probably will end up at least getting my favorite house or maybe all 4 when they all are out, because I do enjoy the Geoffrey pops, and this one's good, especially for a fandom like Harry Potter. We've seen ones in the past for obviously DC and Marvel, I believe. So it's cool now to see that we're getting Harry Potter, and maybe one day we'll get some Star Wars ones. I think that would be pretty cool, like a Jedi Geoffrey. I think would be a great idea. But overall, this isn't a bad pop at all. And then we have the new Disney set, and this is okay. There's not a ton to say about these pops, but they're all right. I do like the Hollywood Tower Hotel. I think that that's a pretty cool pop town. But overall, this is not one of my favorite waves of Disney pops. I really enjoyed the one where you had the dog from the Pirates of the Caribbean. I felt like that was a really solid wave, and this just doesn't feel as good as that one. And then we have the new NFL pops, and these aren't bad, but DK summed it up pretty well. We've seen, I believe, all of these guys already, but they're just different color swaps. But I do really enjoy the way that the Josh Allen looks. I like the blue jersey like that, especially with the white helmet. I think that they contrast each other pretty well for a decent looking pop. And the George Kittle's pretty cool as well. But besides that, it's a pretty basic wave of NFL pops. Then we have the pops for the Bullet Train movie, and these pops look pretty good. I haven't watched the movie. I believe that a couple of my coworkers went and saw it, and I think they said they liked it, but I don't remember. Overall, these pops look pretty cool. I mean, there's a huge difference between all three of these pops, plus the chase version, of course. But I don't know, it makes me kind of interested in seeing the movie, so that's always good. And seeing that there's a chase, that's awesome as well. I'm sure for people who were fans of the movie, they're definitely going to want to get that chase version, even though it is just simply taking off the glasses and the hat and having a little bit of damage on the face. But overall, not a terrible chase. And then lastly, we have the newest Naruto Shippuden pop with, I believe he said his name is Mike Guy. This is a pretty cool looking pop. I mean, the glow in the dark, I think, is going to look amazing on this. You have the eyes that turn blue, and then basically all of the fire and the hair on his body, including the hair on his head and his eyebrows turning red. I feel like this is going to look sweet. I can't wait to see this in person to test out the glow. Not that I want to own this pop, but I definitely want to see how that glow looks because I think it's going to be pretty superb.
All right, so we are officially done talking about pops on a Funko Popcast right now, and we're going to move over to sodas because everyone definitely loves Funko sodas. So we're going to divide it into two sections. This first section will range from announcements from July 18th all the way until August 16th. So kicking off with July 18th, we have ourselves Nosferatu with a 1 in 6 black and white chase, which will be limited to 8,000 pieces. Predator from, of course, the movie Predator with an unmasked 1 in 6 chase, which will be limited to 15,000 pieces. Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph, which will have a 1 in 6 scented chase, and it's limited to 10,000 pieces. Then on August 9th, this is the day that Funko announced the FunKon exclusive Funko sodas, which we have ourselves the Iron Giant 3-liter soda with a 1 in 6 chase of Iron Giant holding the car, which is a FunKon shared with Funko Shop exclusive, limited to 6,500 pieces. Blacklight Yogi Bear, which has a 1 in 6 blue chase, which was shared with the Funko Shop exclusive to FunKon, limited to 7,500 pieces. She-Hulk from the ongoing Disney Plus Marvel series She-Hulk, which has a 1 in 6 metallic chase, in which this was shared with the Funko Shop in the US and GameStop here in Canada, still exclusive to FunKon. And then we have ourselves Jimi Hendrix from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, which has a 1 in 6 bronze chase, and this was shared with the Funko Shop in the US and Toys R Us here in Canada, limited to 15,000 pieces. Then on August 15th, the Everett Aqua Sox had announced their own exclusive soda of Webley, which has a 1 in 6 Frogs jersey, in which this has since released, limited to 4,000 pieces. And then last but not least, August 16th, which was the day that Funko announced the D23 exclusives, we have ourselves kicking off a 3-liter Baymax soda from Big Hero 6, which has a 1 in 6 Mochi chase, which was shared with which will be shared with the Funko Shop. Actually, it hasn't released yet, in which this is limited to 5,000 pieces. Frozone from The Incredibles, which has a 1 in 6 ice chase, which this is going to be shared with the Funko Shop in the US and Toys R Us here in Canada, limited to 7,500 pieces. Lab Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove, which has a 1 in 6 glow-in-the-dark chase. This will be shared with the Funko Shop in the US and Toys R Us here in Canada, limited to 10,000 pieces. Donald Duck, which has a 1 in 6 flock chase, which will be shared with the Funko Shop in the US only, limited to 7,500 pieces. And last but not least for D23 and this section of sodas, we have PhilharMagic Mickey Mouse, which has a 1 in 6 Diamond Collection chase, which this will be shared with the Funko Shop in the US and Toys R Us here in Canada, limited to 15,000 pieces. So kicking off with Nosferatu, this is pretty decent. I mean, this is exactly how the Funko Pop is that was announced during Funkoween a few months back, where it is, I think, the colored common and the black and white chase. So I guess that definitely makes sense. And I think this will sell pretty well, especially with the low piece count of 8,000 pieces. Then we got Predator, which I think also is really cool. And I like the idea of obviously masked and unmasked because that's a crucial part of the movie where you do see him masked and then eventually see him unmasked. So I think that's really cool. And obviously, I do see people getting both the common and the chase for this. We got Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph, and this is a pretty cool soda for the fact that essentially it is a scented soda, and it's a scented soda for the chase, I should say. And it's been so long since I've seen Wreck-It Ralph, so I don't exactly remember what is in Vanellope's hand, whether that's like a cookie or something. I could imagine that's what it was, especially because it is a scented soda, and especially kind of the design of her hair going on where it's kind of like sprinkles. So I think that's really cool. And I'm kind of curious to know what this soda smells like, because I think this soda has been in the hands of some Funko collectors already. So I wonder what the scent is like for this soda. The Iron Giant 3-liter soda. This thing is awesome. I wish I had obtained this in some sort of way, but now at this point, you have to get it secondary market, and even just getting the common is just ridiculous amount of money. So I don't think I'm going to be ending up getting this soda, but I think it's awesome, especially with the chase where he's holding the car and how you have like a little soda-fied character in there. So I guess you can say that that little character could be the smallest Funko soda ever made so far. So I guess that's pretty cool. And I mean, Iron Giant definitely deserves to be a 3-liter soda just because he's a giant. We got the Black Light Yogi Bear, and I think this is pretty decent. I like the colors involved, especially how they keep continuing making the colorway where essentially the common looks more like the actual fur tone, I guess I would say, of the actual character, and then you do some sort of colorway for the chase. I think that's pretty decent, and I think that the colors look great for both the common and the chase. Then we got She-Hulk, and I felt like they could have done something different for the chase. I feel like just making it simply metallic is a little bit lazy, especially if you've seen the She-Hulk series. They could have easily done the attire she has as the common, and then you could have done like lawyer She-Hulk, I guess, as the chase. I think that would have been way better, and I think more people would be more invested on trying to get multiple cans to try to get that chase than what we got here. And then we got ourselves Jimi Hendrix, which is pretty decent. I mean, I feel like there's people out there that don't like the idea of a bronze chase, but I like the idea of a bronze chase just because of the bronze statue effect and how you do see in certain cities, like certain musicians get a bronze statue of themselves. So I do like it for that aspect. Although it would have been really cool to do a cool mold and kind of copy that FYE exclusive Jimi Hendrix pop where like he's kind of doing the solo and his guitar is on fire. So I think that would have been awesome as a chase, but obviously there probably would have been some sort of weight difference, like a clear weight difference to tell from the common and the chase at that point. But overall, I still think the bronze statue chase is still pretty decent. Then we got ourselves Webley the Frog. I think this looks pretty cool. I like the way that they did both the common and the chase, especially with the jersey colors and the hat color. I think that's really cool. I think this is one of those sodas, though, where I feel like I wouldn't care if I got the common or the chase if I were to get this. But overall, I think this was a cool thing for Funko to do for an Everett Aqua Sox game to hand out Funko sodas instead of like, you get like the stickers and like sometimes you get the different pops. But having sodas now, that's really cool. The Baymax 3-liter soda, this is pretty decent. I like the idea of him holding Mochi. I think that's awesome. I think that's a little bit of a nice money grab there to where you want to get multiples if you can as terms to the 3-liter soda, even though they're already kind of expensive as it is since they retail at, I believe, 40 US, if I'm not mistaken. But this is still pretty decent. And I mean, both the common and the chase are pretty good, but I do think the Iron Giant one just is a little bit better. Maybe you know what? It's much better than this one, but they're still cool 3-liter sodas. Then we got Frozone from The Incredibles. This is really cool. I like the idea of Frozone being in a Funko soda form, but what I don't really like I understand it's cool that it has the ice piece, but that's all that is. I wish they would have done something where maybe they added some sort of base around it to where it is ice, or maybe they should have made this like a blue translucent effect like they did with the Chili Willy and the Doctor Strange chases, where it kind of gives more of a Frozen-esque colorway there instead of just adding a piece to it and it's like, here, that's your chase. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same figure. We got Lab Kronk from Emperor's New Groove, and I think this is pretty decent. I mean, we had the Yzma, and now we have Lab Kronk, and adding the glow-in-the-dark effect and adding the vial there to the chase, I think is a nice added attention to detail and a nice way to be like, okay, I'm going to want to get multiples to try to get that chase. But, I mean, overall, I feel like when this gets released, this might actually not sell well because I believe the Yzma didn't entirely sell well as it is. So maybe the Kronk one might not sell well. Then we got ourselves Donald Duck, which is a pretty decent soda can. I mean, it's a more regular Donald Duck compared to the 3 Caballeros or whatever they're called with the 2 chases. This one's more of like a 3 Musketeers version, but I like the idea of it being flocked and adding the sword to the hand there. I think that's pretty sweet. And then last but not least, we have PhilharMagic Mickey, which even though this does seem like a soda that I feel like a lot of people won't like, I quite enjoy this soda. This actually might be one of my favorite sodas as terms to the D23 reveals. I think that even though I'm not entirely a fan of Diamond Collection, I think that the blue that's on the chase will look very well with the glitter effect, and especially how they made the hat more of a bright blue for the chase also, and then adding the glitter effect to the hat and the outfit. And then you even have it a little bit on the ears. I feel like maybe they shouldn't have put it on the ears and just have it on the outfit. But overall, I think that the soda in person is going to look nicer than what we have here as terms to the glam shop.
Okay, it's soda time. So starting off with Nosferatu, this is pretty sweet. Like TK had said, it is very similar to the pop, which is exactly what you want with a character like this. There's not a ton that you need to do. I like both versions. I think that the colored version looks cool because you can see the like pink around the eyes. And the black and white chase is not bad at all. I think that they didn't have to do anything else besides that. So it's a good job by Funko. Then we have Predator, and both the common and the chase for this are awesome. Of course, you have the common with the mask on, and then you have the chase with the mask off. I feel like a lot of people will definitely want to get that chase if you are a fan of the Predator series. And the detail in this is crazy. This might be one of the most detailed Funko sodas we've seen because, of course, a character like the Predator has just so much going on with its attire and, of course, being like alien like that yeah, there's a lot of detail packed into this soda. Then we have Vanellope, and the common is okay, and then the chase is pretty cool as well, and it's scented, which is really awesome to see. I want to see more scented Funko sodas, especially considering they're sealed inside of a can. I feel like once you open them, the scent will be pretty pungent because it's been kind of sealed in this can for long enough where once you finally crack it and you get to smell that's something that's really you're really going to want to get the chase with some of these scented chases. And then we have the first 3 liter soda with the Iron Giant. And this is crazy. I'm so excited for the 3 liter sodas. Of course, now we've seen a few of them since the official announcement for this one, but this one's great. I love how with these 3 liter sodas as well, the package of each one is kind of like a different flavor of soda by the color that it is. So I guess the Iron Giant would be more of like a cream soda flavored, which is pretty cool, I guess. The common is awesome. I mean, it's the Iron Giant. He looks sweet. And then the chase is pretty damn cool as well. You have him lifting up his one arm, and then he's got the car. One thing that I think they should have added would be that both the common and the chase should have been glow in the dark in the eyes, considering it's such a big figure that the eyes are probably pretty big, at least probably an almost close to an inch at least. So having them be glow in the dark, I think, would look really cool, especially if they're lit up in a dark room. Then we have the Yogi Bear Blacklight Soda, and this is pretty sweet. The common is really cool because you have these blacklight colors, but it keeps the same color scheme that Yogi Bear is with his clothing and as well as his fur. And then the chase is pretty awesome as well. It's a total switch up from that, where he's blue and the color scheme is totally different, which is exactly what you want to see. This is an awesome looking blacklight soda. Then we have She-Hulk, and the common is okay, and the chase is pretty bad. I feel like a lot of the times a metallic chase is kind of a cop out. It's not great. I think that, like DK said, there's definitely a lot of different things that could have been done for She-Hulk, whether it was like her lawyer attire, I guess, or anything, literally anything besides metallic. Next up, we have Jimi Hendrix, and this is a pretty sweet soda. I like how the head looks. He has quite a big head due to his hair, which is awesome. And he has a guitar. Of course, he's going to have the guitar. And the chase, I don't think is bad. I think that it makes sense that you have the bronze statue. And overall, this figure's sweet. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more different Jimi Hendrix sodas down the line. Then we have Webley, and this is pretty sweet. I mean, I wish we'd see some stuff like this for some live events that are closer to us. Obviously, we're not going to go out and go get this Webley at the baseball game, but it is an awesome looking soda. And I feel like people who go to the game would probably like this, maybe even more than when they get the Funko Pops. Sodas are really cool, obviously. So to get one at a baseball game, I think is just such a cool idea. And the chase and the common for this are pretty cool. I do think I like the common a little bit more. I think the jersey just looks a little bit better with the Aqua Sox logo. And then we have another 3-liter soda, and it is a Baymax from Big Hero 6. This is really cool. And like I said, with the colorways of the bottles themselves, is that this would be like a Coke or a Coca-Cola type drink from what you see, which I love the idea that they did with this. I think that's so smart. And overall, these are really cool. The common seems a little like not detailed. I feel like maybe it could have been doing a little bit more. And then you have the chase with Mochi, and that's really awesome. I think that a lot of people are definitely going to want to get the chase, but I wouldn't be too disappointed if I only got the common. Next up, we have Frozone, and this is a really sweet Funko soda. I really enjoy the common. And then you have the chase, and it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst either. I do like it, but I do wish, kind of like DK said, if there was just more ice around him, or they scrapped the whole ice idea and just put him in his black suit and had his mask off. I think that would be an awesome chase when he's asking his wife where his super suit is. That'd be a perfect chase, in my opinion, rather than getting this little bit of ice that you see shooting out of his hand. Then we have Lab Kronk. I love this. I'm a huge fan of The Emperor's New Groove, and Kronk's an awesome character. The common, pretty sweet. He's got his hands together like him and Yzma are kind of scheming something up, which I think is great. And then with the chase, of course, he has the vial and it's glow in the dark, which they didn't necessarily have to make it glow in the dark, but they did. And I think that's good because it's just a pretty much all white soda for the most part. And as well as it looks like the vial will glow as well. So I feel like the glow chase on this is going to look sweet. I'm definitely going to be cracking a few of these cans to try and get both the common and the chase. Next up, we have Donald Duck, and this is okay. I do think that the chase is pretty awesome where you get to have him flocked as well as with the little wooden sword. It blows the common out of the water, that's for sure. And then lastly, we have the Fill Her Magic Mickey Mouse, and this is a really awesome soda. Funko showed this off on their Instagram Live, where you get to see the common and the chase looks so cool. And I normally don't say that with anything that's Diamond Collection, but I do think it really works well for this Mickey soda. And the fact that they changed the color of his attire just a little bit as well is perfect. I really like how that looks. I want to find this chase for sure.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code of Funko Popcast for 10% off.
And now we're going to talk about the last selection of Funko sodas we're going to discuss about, which range from August 22nd up until September 1st, 2022, the most recent Funko soda announcements that happened within the last week, besides, of course, New York Comic Con reveals, which that will carry on over to the next time we do an all sodas podcast, I guess. So kicking off on August 22nd, we have ourselves 3 Funko sodas of the Sanderson sisters, Winifred, Sarah, and Mary, which Winifred has a 1-in-6 green chase, Sarah has a 1-in-6 purple chase, and Mary has a 1-in-6 red chase, all which will be exclusive to the Funko shop and all limited to 25,000 pieces. Then on September 1st, Funko had announced a Funko soda figure of Ben Tennyson from Ben 10, which has a 1-in-6 Heat Blast chase, in which that's going to be limited to 8,000 pieces. We have Dr. Fate for the DC Comics lineup, which has a 1-in-6 glow-in-the-dark chase, limited to 8,000 pieces. Moon Knight from the Marvel Comics lineup, which has a 1-in-6 glow-in-the-dark chase and will be exclusive to previews, which will be limited to 20,000 pieces. Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars, which has a 1-in-6 Force Ghost chase, limited to 12,500 pieces. Jim Halpert from The Office, which has a 1-in-6 3-hole punch gym chase, limited to 10,000 pieces. And last but not least, we have Fix-It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph, which has a 1 in 6 holding hammer chase, which will be limited to 12,500 pieces. So starting off with the Sanderson sisters, and this is interesting. I mean, I'm sure that this was eventually going to happen. I'm actually surprised that these weren't involved in, let's say, like a Hocus Pocus 6-pack of Funko sodas, and then they added 3 other characters to it. And I'm not exactly sure whether I like or I don't like the idea of essentially solid colored chases that involve the colors of their outfits. I mean, it seems bad, but at the same time, I feel like they could have done something worse. Like, let's say a glow in the dark chase where only like maybe the vial in Winifred's hand would glow in the dark and that's it, or something else involving the other characters. But I mean, I guess this is okay. I'm still really undecided on whether I like the chase or not. But overall, I'm not surprised Hocus Pocus sodas are a thing now. Then we got ourselves Ben 10 Funko sodas with Ben, obviously, and Heat Blast Chase, and that is awesome. I love the idea that you just have normal Ben, and then you have Heat Blast as the chase. I think that's awesome. Completely different mold with the body, and especially the head sculpt also, and it glows in the dark, which is absolutely awesome. Yellow is probably the color behind green that glows the best, so I wouldn't be surprised at how well this yellow glows in the dark with this Heat Blast chase. Then we got ourselves Dr. Fate for the DC Comics lineup, which I'm not surprised about this because the Black Adam movie is coming out very soon, and Dr. Fate is going to be in that movie. And I'm a little surprised that this is glow in the dark, considering that I felt like this could have been metallic with the armor that's involved. But overall, I think glow in the dark is still a pretty decent specification for this, especially because, once again, like I mentioned with the Heat Blast chase, that yellow is a pretty decent color glow in the dark. So I think it will look very nice. Then we got ourselves Moon Knight, which is really cool that we have a Moon Knight Funko soda. I kind of wish, though, that the chase was Mr. Knight, but maybe that's more towards the MCU version. I'm not exactly sure how the comic book version of Moon Knight is, whether there obviously, well, there probably is a Mr. Knight, but I mean, I felt like, in my opinion, just knowing about the MCU TV series of Moon Knight, that the chase should have been Mr. Knight, and then the common is just regular old Moon Knight. But overall, I'm kind of curious to know how this glow is going to be, because white is kind of the hit or miss as terms to a great glow on that certain item from Funko. We got Obi-Wan Kenobi, which this is awesome. I love the idea that it is a Force Ghost chase. They did old Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then it's the Force Ghost here. I think that's really awesome, especially also how the lightsaber is not ignited for the chase, because I feel like it would suck very bad if you had gotten the chase and, let's say, maybe the piece broke off as terms to the lightsaber. That would suck if you had gotten the chase that way. It even sucks for the common, but it would suck much more for the chase for that to happen. So to have it not ignited is really cool. It's translucent, which obviously makes sense because it's a ghost. And I mean, I think this may be one of the best Star Wars, or actually I think is the best Star Wars chase we have gotten as terms to a Funko soda thus far. Then we got ourselves Jim Halpert from The Office, and I think that this is a great Funko soda. I am so glad that when I had imagined a Jim Halpert Funko soda, they went with the way that I wanted them to do for the soda. They have the normal Jim Halpert where he has the Dave tag, and then the chase is 3-hole punch Jim, because of the fact that many people, including MD Shady, missed out on the 3-hole punch Jim Funko Pop that was a Funko Shop exclusive and has risen in price since then. Luckily enough, I had gotten it secondary price, but not what it's at now. But it is great for Office fans who did not get the 3-hole punch Jim Funko Shop Pop, that now they have a chance at getting the 3-hole punch Jim soda into their collection. And I know for a fact that I'm going to be getting multiple cans to get both the common and the chase for Jim Halpert. And last but not least, we have ourselves Fix-It Felix for Wreck-It Ralph. And I think this is okay. I mean, I haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph in a while, like I mentioned with Vanellope, to even remember, like, okay, what could they have done for a common and a chase? So I feel like, in my opinion, right now, as I'm looking at it, him just holding a hammer just seems weird instead of just, the common of just him with his fist out and the hammers to the side. And then you got the chase with him holding the hammer. I just feel like it's just a little weird in my opinion. I felt like they could have done something a little better in my opinion for Fix It Felix. But overall, I mean, I'm sure people are going to get this, especially with obviously the Wreck-It Ralph soda that they have. And they have Vanellope already. They might as well get this one, obviously, also, since there are now 3 Wreck-It Ralph sodas.
So we have the Sanderson sisters as Funko sodas now, which is pretty awesome. These look pretty cool. I do enjoy the common and the chase versions of each of them. I think that they're pretty decent, and it's a good thing to do, I guess, for 3 characters like this, where they kind of have their own color scheme, to just simply make the chase a certain color, which I think they actually do look nice. I do think a lot of people are probably just going to want to get the commons, though, if I'm being completely honest. But overall, these are 3 awesome Funko sodas, and I'll probably get one of each. Then we have Ben Tennyson, and this is fire, pun intended. I mean, wow, we finally have Funko products besides the one wacky wobbler we got years ago for Ben 10. This is awesome. The common, really cool. I like how it looks, and the chase is amazing. I mean, I definitely need to get both the common and the chase for this soda. That's such a cool chase. Even in the comments on Instagram, people are saying, no, that's a chase, because this is exactly what you want from an awesome chase. It's a completely different figure, and it has relevance to why it should be the chase. So that's awesome. My only gripe I have with this is that the art on the can is for the newer series, I guess you could say, of Ben 10, whereas the figure is actually the first Ben 10, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know why they just didn't go with the art for the first design of Ben 10, considering that this is what this soda is clearly based off of. So that's my only gripe. It's not a huge one, but I just think that that's something that shouldn't have happened. Next up, we have Dr. Fate, and this is a pretty nice looking soda. I like how this looks. I feel like this is going to be one of those sodas that might sit around for a bit. This will be one that you see pretty commonly at stores like your local comic book shop, or any store that really carries Funko sodas. I feel like this might sit around a bit, but I do think it is a nice soda. And like DK had said, yellow generally glows very well. So that chase version, that'll be something to look out for. That's for sure. Then we have the previews exclusive Moon Knight, and this is okay. Moon Knight's awesome, but I feel like there should have been a little bit more detail put into this. And by that, I mean, maybe if you look at the art on the can, I wish that the figure would have been styled in kind of the comic book style a little bit more, where you have a couple of black stripes going in the spots for some shading. It just seems like a white figure with a little bit of black underneath the hood for the shading, whereas I feel like there could have been a lot more shading on this figure, which would have made it honestly a really nice figure. And then you have the chase, and glow in the dark makes sense. I hope that the glow goes well for this. I probably will buy one of these cans, and if I get the chase or the comet, it really doesn't matter, but a glow in the dark chase would be cool. Next up, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, and DK summed this one up pretty well. This figure's awesome. I mean, you got Obi-Wan in the common with his blue lightsaber. It looks awesome. Such a great figure. And then you have the chase, which is Force Ghost, which is so cool. This probably is one of my favorite Star Wars figures when it comes to terms of looking at the common and the chase together. Yeah, this is great. I definitely will have to pick up an Obi-Wan once these start hitting stores. Next up, we have Jim Halper in Funko soda form, finally, which is super awesome. Jim Halper is my favorite character from The Office. And like DK said, I didn't get the chance to get the pop of the 3 hole punch Jim. So now I'm finally going to get the chance to get it with the chase. And I can guarantee that this common and this chase will definitely be in my hands when it comes to it being released, because this is something that I need both of. And I might end up buying a full case of these just so that I can get both the common and the chase. And then lastly, we have Fix It Felix, and this is a pretty good looking soda. It's not the best, but it's not bad either. The common is decent, and then you have the chase where he has the hammer out. I do like the detail of how the common has the hammer in the like holster, and then with the chase, it's out of the holster and actually in his hand. But I feel like there's just not enough going on for it to be a chase that people are really going to want to chase for. So this could end up being one of those cans, like I said, with Dr. Fate, that kind of sits around a little bit.
Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's edition of a Funko Podcast, make sure you smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know your favorite pops and sodas discussed about on this week's podcast. Press that subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's podcast, and hope to see you guys next time. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Well, of course I know him. He's me. Peace in, peace out.